What is going on, you dirty, dirty Adeptus Mechanicus players? Let's see if we survived the brand new Codex Adeptus Mechanicus FAQ. This says version 1.1, but I think it should say version 2. Let's check out the new erratas. We made it out pretty good, 1,000-foot view. I think it's going to be fine. I think all of these were needed, more or less, but let's get into it just a touch for everybody. That way, if you're following along with my Adeptus Mechanicus Masterclass, this will be some valuable information, opinions, and yeah, you maybe won't feel as bad playing the army because the army was obviously way too good as released. And then at the end, we'll get into a little rant about GW here. But first, Solar Blessing is you get +1 armor save from a damage characteristic of 1, but it doesn't stack with light cover. So you could still rock a 2-up save during the Doctrine of +1 armor save, but during Mechanical of light cover, or if you're on terrain, for example, you would not be able to stack them. That's fine. It was making our 8-point troops too durable, although you're still rocking a 3-up in the open and a 2-up on the turn with the Doctrine, so you're doing fine. We still got pretty durable, really punchy troops, and that's kind of what the target of this FAQ was our troops being too good for the points. And I'm really happy with a lot of these changes versus the points going up. Like, you really do want your troops to be low points because you want to have some bodies to go stand on objectives and things. So it's nice that our troops are still going to remain at 8 points for now. The next one here is acquisition at any cost. You can only use the stratagem once. So it's the one where you automatically pass morale when you're near an objective. They changed it to wholly within 6. So you got to squish basically 1 unit all over the objective. And you can only do it once. Whereas before, a 6-inch bubble of an objective could hit multiple units and they would all pass morale. I'm very happy with this. It's really important, I think, that they bring morale back into the game. Before, it felt like in 8th edition, all the armies with low leadership would have ways to ignore morale, like orcs or tyrannids or commissars or whatever. And then the armies with high leadership would just take min-size units, so they wouldn't have morale. So this is a good way. They also changed the orcs now that they're going to actually take morale tests this edition. So sure, cool. I like it. Next one is enriched rounds. This one was the absolute best stratagem that's probably ever been written. And it's unbelievable that the people that wrote the rules for this book, or the play testers or whoever is dropping the ball. Like, how incompetent can you be to let this exist as it was in the Codex? Like, just basic, simple math. And they should have been smart enough to catch the problem they created. I mean, unbelievable. Let me know in the comments below. Do you think it's the playtesters who are terrible? Or do you think the rules writers ignore the playtesters and just print whatever they decide on without really taking into account the information given to them? Let me know. I think it's both. Anyway, the stratagem is now 2 CP or 1, and it's based on models. I guess normally this would have been based on power level, but the problem was that 20 guys doing this stratagem was way too strong. This one got a double hit here. So now your 20-man unit, unmodified successful hit roll of a 5+ instead of a 4+. So your 60 shots that were doing an automatic 30+ wounds basically are now doing about 20+ wounds, which is still very strong, but also that's going to cost you 2 CP instead of 1. But still, 2 CP to make a unit take 20 armor saves at AP 1, pretty strong. So I don't think you're losing out anything here. I think it's still an awesome stratagem. Anybody would be happy with this stratagem in their book or their army. Obviously, we've seen the broken version as printed in the book, but this is still a great stratagem. So, and this next one's a really clever way to nerf these guys. This is for that was for the Vanguard here in Rich Rounds. This one is for the Rangers. This stratagem was turning your guns to rapid fire 2, which meant within 15 inches, because they were 30-inch range, you would get 80 shots, which was insane. I don't know why they think rolling more dice is more fun. It's a really bad design philosophy, I think. But anyway, this tones it down a bit. And there's a double thing here. Also, this is 2 CP like this one, so they're both 2 CP now, which is fine. Heavy 3 turns them to shoot 60 shots out of their squad. But a big change here is a lot of times these units were coming in from reserve or getting teleported, and that turning it into rapid fire meant no penalty for moving and shooting. But now, with it staying in heavy, you are going to suffer a penalty to moving and shooting. But with a quick check of the book, Metallica. Models with this dogma do not suffer the penalty to hit rolls incurred for firing heavy weapons in the same turn their unit has moved. So a Metallica Ranger would still not suffer the hit penalty for moving and shooting the heavy. So it might be a reason to look into Metallica. Nobody's been playing it. But Lucius was the clear winner, and part of that got changed here. Mars is looking good still, very strong. Another one here, the Iron Striders and the Sidonian Dragoons lost the core keyword. This is going to remove some of their access to buffs. It's interesting that, obviously this is just for a game balance perspective, because if you're going to take away core on these guys, there's no reason why Space Marine Dreadnought should have core, but maybe because the Space Marine Dreadnoughts are not dominating every single event. So these guys are probably just a little too efficient. Now, another odd thing too, I guess they had to do it to both, but it's the Ballistari that are the really strong ones, and nobody whatsoever has complained about the Dragoons this edition. I'm not saying they're not strong, they're definitely a nice unit, but they seemed fine. They didn't seem overpowered or anything, and I don't know. They probably didn't need to lose core, but then maybe that would have looked odd if one had it and one didn't. And another thing, if you're just going to totally delete core off of units, then can't we put core on these two units? Because they're terrible. Like, obviously taking a unit or spending some points on them is not going to lose you every game. But in an army that's a lot of times hitting on 2s or 3s, re-rolling 1s, units that hit on 4s with almost no access to re-rolls is just, it's hard to spend your points there. Now, another reason why Mars still has some pretty nice play is they have a built-in re-roll for all their units. So individual units of these, like individual models, are going to re-roll one of their hit rolls. These guys also get a re-roll there. And that's it. We came out beautiful on this. I think you should be generally pretty happy. The Admech book was way too strong, and it's really a little irritating for me that at the prices they charge for their product, it seems so poorly play tested and thought out that these kind of FAQs even need to exist. And these are big sweeping changes, like literally deleting words out of books, adding brand new rules to rules that are written in the books, changing complete stratagems. They've done it with a lot of books, mind you. So can they literally just spend a week and let some people with some actual competence test these books and maybe pay attention to what they say? If these people are smart enough, because everybody saw these two things and immediately knew exactly what was going to be amazing. Like, not even counting the other little combos and stuff, but these two having to take these big changes. I mean, you had to be stupid, just flat out stupid, to not see how strong it was, to be like, hey, 1 CP, take 30 armor saves. Like, nothing in the game should do that. So, interesting. The super good thing about this is they didn't do any crazy points changes. They didn't nerf every single thing. We still have some very, very good units. And the units that did get nerfed are still really good. And I'm using the word nerf loosely, just, they took the changes. But they're still great. They were just hitting way too hard for their points. They were way too efficient. And another reason why, competitive 40K is just a complete joke in my mind is, obviously, you saw people winning events with like 100 plus troops and spamming these two stratagems and then making them super hard to kill with this. and making them not run away with this, and then basically using these guys here to be their anti-vehicles. And that was about the whole army. And all that is for competitive, if you think you're a competitive player, is just looking at the very, very poorly play-tested rules and then just diving headfirst into as much of it as you can get into your 2,000 points, which doesn't seem very skillful in my opinion. It just seems like throwing money at it. So there you go. Those are my thoughts. Hopefully you're still enjoying the Adeptus Mechanicus Masterclass. I had actually not played for the last couple weeks because I thought the book was so broken. So it'll be interesting to now get a play again and test out some of these changes. I've never actually even used this stratagem, and I haven't even tried playing Lucius. I've just been messing around with Mars. So these ones don't affect me. These two, I only have one of these and I've never played them. So this will affect me a little bit. You can't put the Marshal next to them to reroll hits and wound rolls of 1, which is very strong on a Strength 9 weapon. And these, I don't have the huge blobs of troops yet painted, and I only play with my painted stuff. So yeah, I think you're in a really good spot. And basically, if you had an army you like already, none of the points changed, and that's really, really nice, just because you can still keep playing the same army you're playing, see how it rolls out, a little less survivable, a little more gonna run away, and a little less damage output here. But no major changes, so I think we came out on top this one, boys. Please like and subscribe. Let me know if you like spending $50 on a hardbound book and then having to literally change entire paragraphs inside that book to play your game. I don't love it. But yeah, we'll see how 9th edition continues. I'm not fully up to date on the orcs, but I got quite a few local orc players, so I'm sure I'll learn about them more soon enough. And they look like they're going to be strong. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the comments. Adios.